Yo gang, welcome once again to Hollywood Hills. So this is episode 34. Last week we reviewed Farm Jam round number 5, and that was for the quads and the juniors. They gave us some incredible racing. But wait till you see this week's show. We had over 150 bikes across all the categories, giving us insane racing action. We're pretty happy with how the edit came out. Enjoy the show, and I'll check in with you again afterwards. Coming at you.
Lo, so cool to see you out there representing for the Farm Jams. This is where a lot of racing started for you, hey?
You won't believe it, my first ever race was here back in 08 or 09. I raced the CRF 230F, did pretty well. I think I came around the top 10 overall at that race, and then I told my dad, yes, see, I really like this racing. We got a RM125 that time, and yeah, quickly I started winning overall Farm Jams on a 125, and that's where my career started, you know. From there on, really got a passion for racing.
Halfway through the year, we spoke about the fact that you'd swung off the 125 onto the 250, and you were battling to get used to it. You seem to have found that groove now.
Yeah, I struggled with the 250 because it's a lot heavier in the corners, but I practiced a lot and I'm set with it now, so hopefully I can do good today again.
You seem to be having a bit of a comeback season as well. So comfortable on the 350 once again.
Yeah, you know, I spoke to Francisco last year and I said, listen, the 450 is nice and everything, but I'm a really aggressive rider, so the 350 suits my style of riding a lot more. The 450 you really have to nurse and go slow to go fast, and yeah, that's not my style of racing.
Tell me about the crew that you keep bringing, because every time at a Farm Jam there's even more and more base fit stewards that are just pulling in on every single gate. You got a good program working in the background, obviously.
Yeah, no, sure. This is what the fitness thing is exactly what this race demands. So yeah, the fitness guys who's training with us, they do very well. And yeah, it's a nice, safe race, and yeah, we try to bring as many people as we can to come and race. It's an awesome series.
Leon and Ruan always put up a great event here. You know, the marking's good. They are also they both race bikes, so they know what to do, what the guys want, and yeah, you always know you have a good track to come here.
We are in a rural area, so it's a small town we don't have any of these events whatsoever. So this is the closest, nicest event we have from town. This is 200 clicks from us, so it's the easiest way to get here and back for a small race for the day.
Lo, you made a bit of a superstar yourself at the last round. What have you got for us this one?
Yeah, hopefully I can repeat what I did in the last round, but I see the dust, it's a lot of dust today, so hopefully I can just keep it on 2 wheels.
Lining up Pro B, you've walked the start line, slightly different, it's like powder down there already.
Yeah, dust is really thick at the start, so I really want that whole show today, but the competition is tough today, so yeah.
Brother, so cool to see you out here at the Farm Jams, and how stacked is this pro gate?
Yeah, no, proper day. Nice weather, family is here, route looks good, documentation went well organised, and yeah, some stiff competition here today.
It's sprint race format as well. Normally you're out there for a 50k loop. This is half that.
I haven't taped my hands, and Mr. Schmidt, Lo Schmidt, said to me, listen, you're crazy, this is hard, so I've got a bit of a trouble, but it's fine, we'll just wing it, yeah.
Nice and busy gates. It was going to be the Pro A class going out, and one more time airtime was going to be going out there. But if anyone was going to ask any questions of it, and at any race, it was going to be this one. Pole shot, clear air, and Lo Schmidt right on his wheel. A 300 smoker versus a 350 four-stroke, and some key players out there trying to pick up the rest of the pieces. The Pro B gate was going to be an interesting one for round number 5 of the Farm Jams. A ton of blue smokes making the jump up out of 2-stroke category into the Pro Bs, and it was 125s that hit the front first, and it was going to be all about the 250 four-stroke of Lo Pretorius try and clear them early on. He was down in third place with Johnson and Branson running a 1 and 2. A combined gate for the vets and the masters gave us some good, real strong runners at the front, and it looked like it was Venter that hit the front early on. But watch out, because Ludovic Janssen van Vuren was going to come on through early on the day's run. In the rocks, it was clear that the 500 was going to be climbing the ladder nice and early, and a fun combination of the seniors and masters, as we have seen so many times on the tour. The Blue Smoke two-strokers also had a bit of a combo feel to it. A lot of the guys riding in the 85s making the jump up. Previous winner, Bernard Bezuidenhout, was going to have his hands full of the little kids in the early running. Then we went back into some of the crazies. The amateur A's and B's combined together to make up a nice busy gate. But it was the guys that were going to run after them that were the crazies. Weekend Warrior A and Weekend Warrior B gave both of the gates well over 20 riders in the queue. Meaning that Farm Jam round number 5 was going to have the busiest and biggest entry of all of the two-wheel categories on the 2019 tour. This time around, a 25k loop, slowing the speed and keeping racing even tighter. So everyone was going to be making tight friends out there, whether it was on the gate that they started out on or some of the traffic that they caught up later on in the race. All of categories were out there chasing down for a 5-lap racing format, or 3 hours, whichever came first. Back in the gates, it was getting real choppy, and a couple of crashes actually coming out of the Weekend Warrior A and B classes. No doubt blinded by the dust. And these plus 20 rider strong gates were going to be gnarly. These were the guys that are the meat and potatoes of South African cross-country racing, and we love to see them going out there, hanging it out and seeing what they can do. When 22 rider plus guys take the gate, only one rider can get clear air. The rest are stuck in the dust. The Pro Minis back on the start line also had a different look and feel. A couple of guys moving up out into the Blue Smokers, so it was a chance for some of the guys that had missed out on podium contention in the previous events to try and chase on through. Once again, it was going to be Mostert, the man to beat after this gate, but this time around, some very strong riders were going to be doing the chase down. And then the ladies category. Peterser, strong, but remember the consistency of Mostert sees her leading the championship as we close in on the latter half of the 2019 Farm Jam Tour. With ladies clear of the gate, we'll be talking about over 150 two-wheel warriors out there on the super technical, gnarly and challenging Farm Jam round number 5 laid out course. End of lap number 1, no big surprise to see outright overall leader and running off the front in the class Pro A's, Airtime Bierkus. He had to get the clear air, he knew he had to get the whole shot because all of the tasties were going to do the chase down. A big loss of time on lap number 1 for Lo Schmidt was a big surprise package, but no surprise to see him still maintain his number 2 position. Third place and first time out racing with us at the Farm Jams, Bernard Delport was doing a very good job on the tracks KTM to run the numbers. A crash on lap number 1 for previous round winner Envia Pretorius. You could see he was a bit bent and buckled and was going to try and get himself back on point at the moment, just outside of a podium placing. Airtime skied it out and introduced us to the new entry into the pit lane. He was pulling time on the rest. In the Pro Bs, the big story was Josh Johnson was off the front, but by a slender 3 seconds. Lo Pretorius had got the hurry up and Branson had gone down hard. He was still hanging on to third though.
It was a good start. It's just, I forgot to walk the start line in the morning and I didn't know it was around the corner.
I knew from the start the whole shot or a good start up in the front was going to be vital, and then got second pull and made a pass on the second corner and then had fresh air for the first lap.
On the one straight we just came together and we just collided. We both fell and we stood up, and then I pulled away in front of him. He just, with his 250 power, just passes me and I just let him go.
After that, Branson lost a ton of time and was in panic mode as he came into the pits, tagging bars and just getting frustrated as he entered. He was still comfortable in third place though, with Rion Prinsloo, who had just got jammed out at the start line, running fourth in the Pro Bs. Behind him, the big story was the combined gate of seniors and masters. Once again saw Ludovic Janssen van Vuren off the front. He was going to get chased down the whole way, and it was a dice for second between Andre Mostert and this man, DJ Malan. On the Masters Gate, the big story was two good buddies. Well, off the bikes anyway. On the bikes, everyone wants to take the cheese. This time around, the factory Sherco of Ian Venter led out his good buddy, Casper Pieterse, who is the winningest master at Farm Jam. The gap, just 20 seconds at the end of lap 1. Ernst Slabbert was doing himself proud as well. And the burly character coming out of Basefit was showing what midweek training can do when you start to twist the throttle come the weekend. Third place for now. Straight behind him, he had the Crazy Kids, the Blue Smokers, and for the first time ever, an 85cc leading things out. Troy Johnson had pulled the whole shot and got ahead and led out ahead of previous round winner on the 125, Bernard Poseidonot. The dice behind for third place was the in-house battle for the factory Vans Racing Husqvarnas. Currently, Alru led out ahead of Baby Bester. Into the pits and jumping all the way up and over the flat, desperate to hang on to his lead of just 18 seconds, Johnson was the man to beat at the end of lap 1. In the Amateur A's, Jean Niebuhr was doing an incredible job. He had tasted clear air in the early stages to stay ahead of Peter Delport, who was trying to stay ahead of HJ Duplessis, who was the leader at this stage in the Amateur Bs. Clear Air had kept his nose nice and clean. The guys that were chasing and sucking the dust were Christian Potgieter and Gav Sturley. For the Weekend Warrior A's, the big story was Frank Venter had got his nose out front, but he had very close company. Nick Wells was doing a great job. He was actually in a comfortable position at this stage, staying ahead of Andre Visser and Werner Eminus, who were very close on the track come the end of lap number 1. In the Weekend Warrior Bs, which gave us one of our biggest gates and wildest starts off the start line, Gert Davis led out on Jason Lightfoot and Michael Pretorius. Hannes Rudman was one of the masters that got sent back, and he was going to be stuck in the dust early on. In the Pro Minis, Zach Johnson was just 3 seconds ahead of Andrew Mostert come the end of lap number 1. The 85 Pro Minis were going to give us a nail-biter if things stayed as close as they were. For the ladies class, early drama for Annika Pieterse. Whole shot pulled the pin, and unfortunately the bike let go on lap 1. That put Catherine Mostert out front, but only 5 seconds ahead of Colin Niebuhr, and not far behind was Roxy Nell. The top 3 ladies, the class of the field here at round 5 of the Farm Jams. Halfway through the event, halfway through the day, unfortunately a big fire sparked up in one of the areas that was being used for the Farm Jam, and the race had to be cut 1 lap short to make sure everyone went home safe. No problems for airtime. He was going to get told, 1 more lap to go, good buddy. Keep it up. At this stage, he was pulling big time out of the rest of the field. Lo Schmidt had lost 45 seconds on lap 1. He had improved on lap number 2 and found big time to close in on the gap, but the early laps and the early pace of airtime had sent him off into the distance, and there was going to be no catching the 2-time winner and back-to-back champion here at Farm Jam. He was the first rider to take the flag at the foreshortened race and get told, you are done, buddy. Another checkers in the bag. Big improvements, and you got to say, if the race was 1 or 2 laps longer, maybe Lo Schmidt would have been able to improve his lap times and position, but a solid number 2 put him up there onto the box. Envia Pretorius worked hard after a big crash on lap number 1 to get himself back into podium contention. Third was going to be the best that he could do as he put Delport 1 position off the box down to 4th. Confirmation of the results then. Airtime skying it off the front. Schmidt did close him down with Pretorius in 3rd, Delport confirmed in 4th, Smith and Vermaak rounding out the top 6. On the Pro Bs, it was always going to be tough to fight against the thunder of the 254 stroke. The 125s gave him a good run in the early stages, but the superstar of the Pro B class, Lo Pretorius, once again came through strong to show a clean pair of heels to the kids that are trying to nibble their way up the order. An incredible ride for Josh, though, put him up there into second place. And you've got to think that he was the class of the field in the technical nature. It was just the high speeds, he didn't have the legs. Branson's crash on lap number 1 dropped him down to third. He didn't drop any further than that, though, and was credited with a great top 3 and a podium placing. The Pro Bs giving us some great riding and great results. Pretorius, Johnson and Branson on the top 3. Prinsloo consistent as ever in 4th. And John-Jack Talia back racing with us in a number 5.
Looks like Lowe started to catch up, and amazing enough, that 125, you were able to stay ahead of him, so it shows how tech the track was.
Yeah, track was nice, few straights. Thought I had a nice gap on the first lap and then came on to me. Diced out for the second lap, and then second lap he passed me, and then had a crash on the third lap and chased in and kept my second.
Obviously the idea of Farm Jam 5 was to calm it down a little bit, throw a bit more tech in. Did you like it, or did you prefer the highways?
No, I like the tech, especially on the 1-5 against the 250s and 450s. Gives the 1-5 a chance to compete a bit, and yeah, it's much nicer than the high speed stuff.
It was hard on your body, and I think if there was one more lap, it would be hard on you, and it's really in your face the whole time, especially in the corners, and it's not flat out everywhere, and you have to have some skill for this.
For Ludovic and the unstoppable 500cc machine. He didn't get clear air early on, but it didn't take him long to get that clear air and run the numbers up front. Still, the man to beat on the seniors gate, and another top 10 overall for Ludovic Janse van Vuuren. Pushed hard in the early stages, and it looks like the guys are starting to find some pace. But look at the gap, 11 minutes over Mostert, Malan, Oosthuizen, Niebuhr and Steyn.
Lud, always going to be busy at the Farm Jams, and when I spoke to you this morning I told you it was more tech. Your eyes lit up, eh?
Yeah, I know, it was awesome. It was nice and tech. This is what we want, not a high-speed race. So yeah, it was a bit tough in the second lap for me. I got a serious arm pump. The big bike, there was a lot of rocks, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, third lap, fourth lap, I was on fire, and yeah, well, that was the end.
Bad choice of words, eh?
Yeah. No, I always enjoy it. This is more the kind of things I like. We'll see next year. There's going to be some changes. So yeah, no, hopefully we can keep it like this, and it would be awesome.
Lining up on the same gate as the seniors, the Masters gave us some epic racing. It was Venter that led out the entire race, but a slightly better fueling strategy meant that the pass was made in the pits, putting Casper Pieterse out front. Venter down to second. When Venter crossed the line, he thought he'd taken the win. He didn't see anyone pass him on the track, and that's true. Pieterse made the pass in the pits to put the Sherco man down to second. Ernst Slabbits was solid, consistent and strong the whole way through the day, and walked away with a rock and roll third place, beating out Kurtzer, Stassen and Venter. The Masters, though, once again owned by Pieterse.
And really, I enjoyed it. So I pushed out my best. I asked Ian Venter on this race to join me. And wow, what a race. What a nice, pleasant was it to be with one of my buddies again.
Out of the Masters, onto one of our younger lineups, and these are the Blue Smoke two-strokers. And the story of the day was a lot of guys moving up out of the Pro 85 Pro Minis, seeing what they could do. A whole shot off the line for Johnson. That was Troy Johnson. Unfortunately, a crash on lap number 2 put him out the back door. That sent Bernard Besaidenout up the road, and then it was a dice for second and third between Baby Bester and Alru van der Westhuizen. This is how it turned out come the end of play. Besaidenout beating out Baby Bester. Alru van der Westhuizen, unfortunately some issues late on in the race, dropped down to third, beating out for Mark, Nordia and Skippers. The Amateur A's was relatively skinny on the line, a lot of guys lining up in the Weekend Warrior class, but it was Jean Niebuhr that took the win and completed 4 laps, along with Peter Delport and Dennis van der Merwe. The rest only able to complete a 3-lap racing lineup. But Niebuhr rock solid, and his times show that he is an extremely capable rider out there. Smith and Steyn rounded out the top 5. In the Ambies, HJ Duplessis did a good enough job to stay out front, and he tasted clear air almost the whole way through the day. Gav Sturley got around Christian Potgieter to change up the order. Sturley took second, Potgieter took third, Dylan Schoeman, Hardis Venter and Gert Smith rounding out a top 6. The biggest gates on the day were once again our Weekend Warriors. The Class A gave us 25 guys on the lineup. The top 16 made a 3-lap racing format, and it was Venter beating out on Nick Wells, Andre Visser, Eminis, Joe Smith and van der Merwe. Then as we moved on into another stacked field, 25 riders out of the Weekend Warrior Pro Bs, Chet Davis beating out on Lightfoot. Also some very strong times, and the top 2 riders tagging a 4-lap racing format, the rest only on 3. For the Pro Minis, a great lineup of 8 riders doing the duty out there. Zach Attack Johnson was the main man, but he was hounded the whole way through the day by Unruh Mostert. These 2 riders were truly the class of the field, and they took the checkers, standing on the 1s and 2s come podium time. Confirmation for the kids. Zach Attack Johnson on the top, Unruh Mostert. Good points on the plate once again for second, ahead of Kurtzer, Maybach, Mayberg, and Language. And for the ladies, consistency pays the bills every single time. Our top 6 ladies completing a 3-lap racing format. Catherine Mostert sees the checkers once again. Colin Neerbuer impressed everybody out there with her pace and only finished around about 4 minutes off the back wheel of the eventual race winner, with Roxy Nell taking another number 3 spot, tagging those points ahead of Costain and Little. Bishop rounded out a very tasty top 6 for our ladies. And with the dust, the drama, and all the action completed from round 5, there's only one thing left in 2019, the final. So that was nuts, and like I said in the voiceover there for the video, there's one more thing left to go, and that's the final. That's going to be the 26th of October, so just around the bend. Make sure you guys get up there. It's going to be an absolutely epic event, and I'm pretty much guaranteeing the rains will have arrived by then. So we should have a really cool event, keep the dust down a little bit and calm things down. So mark that calendar, 26th of October, the final round of a 6-round championship for Farm Jam, and also where we'll be crowning our champions for the season. So what else is coming around the pipe? Well, this weekend, it's the final round of the GXCCs, Zorgfleet. So this is the Cancer Awareness Month. This is where everyone goons it out and puts on pink wigs and pink tutus and goes crazy. A very fun event, and it's been the longest GXCC season to date, with 8 rounds and 7 rounds counting. You can throw one away, of course, and the guys that are bean counters out there will be doing all the maths, figuring out what they have to do. But there is only one throwaway, which has really made it a bit of a tense season. A couple of the championships are already wrapped up, but it's going to be fun to see what goes down, and hopefully the rains do come. Everyone's talking about the rains arriving on Friday or Saturday, so fingers crossed we get a little bit of mud to play with rather than a season that has just been filled with dust. We'll bring you a short recap on the highlights package. We'll work with the guys from Action in Motion and bring you the stills and some of the stories, some of the championships that went down this coming weekend for the final round of the GXCCs. Also, make a mark on your calendar. On the 30th of November, it looks like what will be the final cross-country event of the season. That's John Horsforth and the guys from 424 Racing. They're going to put together a really cool, fun event, round about a 30k loop for the seniors, a 10k loop for the juniors with all ablutions. Everything's going to be there. There's going to be toilets, there's going to be catering, there's going to be camping facilities, it's going to be around the Bronkhorstspruit area. Watch out on next week's show. We will be dropping the bomb and telling you exactly all the details for this event. And while I talk about the guys from 424, check out the special they've got running. These are the Spirit helmets, so Spirit MX helmets with goggle combo, and you can pick these things up in Middelburg. So check out all the details on the advert. They've got a special at Riders running for the 424 cross-country racing guys, Spirit MX helmet and goggle combo for 1,450 Rand. That's cheap in anyone's money. So if anyone has been hanging tough and waiting for some lastminute.com gifts to throw forward into Christmas, go check out the boys as well. And we hope that we can bring you all the details for the 424 final cross-country event of the season in next week's show. Also, watch out for next week's show as we check in on what went down last week at the final round of the National Enduro Championship. That was down in Port Elizabeth, where we saw some key players and a couple of repeat champions and new champions. So check in on that. For now, we just hope you enjoyed the 2 shows that we brought you. That was episodes 33 and 34 of Hollywood Hills, where we reviewed, in association with Vans Racing and LiveX, the Farm Jam, round number 5. We'll bring you all the action from the final round. But for now, we sign off. We'll take a bit of a breath. It's been 2 weeks in edit for us, and we hope you guys really enjoyed the show. Stay tuned. There's still plenty of Hollywood Hills to come for the rest of 2019.